The positional tier lists are back, going through every position in Major League Baseball, ranking them on a tier list from elite all the way down to below average. Every team, every starter, let's do it. We're going to be making this a weekly thing as I do every single year, so expect to see one position every week until we're done with positions. But first, I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, SeatGeek. Baseball is back, and that means you can get $20 off tickets at SeatGeek with promo code Giraffe. If you don't know what SeatGeek is, let me tell you. They're a ticketing app that makes buying and selling tickets super simple. I've got the app on my phone, and it is by far and away the easiest way to buy tickets. Whether it's baseball, concerts, basketball games, hockey, maybe even football season coming up, SeatGeek's got the tickets. SeatGeek takes tickets from all over the web and puts them in one place to make buying tickets simple for you. The Brewers are coming in New York to play the Mets next week, and I've got my eyes on some really good tickets. And what's great is that SeatGeek will even tell you what the best deals are using their SeatGeek score. Just look for those green dots. If you see green dots, it means you got a good deal. Red means bad. So don't worry, I've got the hookup. Like I said at the beginning, go to SeatGeek and use promo code Giraffe for $20 off tickets. That's $20 off your first purchase of tickets on SeatGeek using promo code Giraffe. Make sure you click the link in the description and download the app today. Thanks for SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video. So first we have Adley Rutschman, and I think Adley right now is definitely playing below average, but I do think Adley's a really good player. I think he's gonna end up being great, one of the better catchers in the league. With someone like him, just because we are talking about future potential, I think more so than current, I'll be nice and I'll put him at average, even though I very much believe he will end up in this elite tier. Right now, with how poorly he's playing, I think I have to put him average. Alejandro Kirk, my goodness, what a year Alejandro Kirk's having. He's one of the best catchers in all of baseball right now on the offensive side, and defensively, while that's never been his strong suit, he's actually been disgusting framing. And to me, I feel like I'm ready to put Alejandro Kirk in the elite category. The catching is so volatile on a year-by-year basis that I don't think it's crazy to say that a dude who hits like Alejandro Kirk is and is playing as good defense behind the plate as he is elite. Why not? It's not like there's this huge gatekeeping of elite catchers anyway, where it's like, oh, you gotta be better than so-and-so. Catchers are weak. Alejandro Kirk, let's go elite. Austin Hedges, I understand he's a good defensive catcher, but the dude has never hit in his life. And while he is really good at framing, I can't put someone who's a backup catcher anywhere besides below average. He's below average to me, and I know the people who are out there like, catching framing's important. It is, but when you can't hit, when you hit like a child, I can't do that. Austin Nola is someone that I thought was gonna be a lot better. He's definitely not looking good in San Diego. I think right now he's probably playing below average, but in all actuality, he's probably more of an average guy. He's a platoon catcher, it really feels like. He's not an everyday guy. He's probably a platoon. Cal Raleigh, honestly, to me, feels like the definition of an average catcher. The dude is okay at the plate. He's okay behind the plate. He just does everything kind of at a major league level. Nothing too great, nothing too poor. I think he's average. There's not really much else to say about Cal Raleigh. I think Christian Vasquez also kind of falls in this average category. He's hot, he's cold. Defensively, he's not as good as he once was. And offensively, he's not as good as he once was. I think he's average to below average. I think there are better catchers out there for sure. Kirk Casale, he's hitting okay. Pitchers love throwing to him. Apparently, he is a pretty good catcher, although the framing numbers don't necessarily agree. Again, in all honesty, I think he's probably more of a backup catcher. Like, I don't think if he's playing every day, you're feeling great. And if the Giants had Joey Bart, who was playing any sort of major league level baseball, he'd be getting more time. I think Kirk Casale is probably average, which makes me think I'm a little bit more harsh on these guys, and I'm really harsh on Austin Hedges, but he's probably average. So Danny Jansen's a weird one, because in the past, the dude been elite defensively, and all of a sudden this year, not so good. That's why Alejandro Kirk is catching more. Danny Jansen also just went down with an injury, so that's going to hurt them too. But he's swinging the bat really, really well. I'm not going to get too overhyped about Danny Jansen. I'll put him in the average category as well. I think he's just solid. So I think if we're talking about Dalton Varsho as an overall player, he's one of the most unique players we've seen in Major League Baseball in a long time. He catches and plays center field, as well as he had played shortstop in the minors. So if needed, he could do it. He's one of the most unique players we've ever seen. And the dude is a beast at the plate. He has immense value because he can hit, he can play catcher, and he can play center field. Two really valuable positions, and he plays them fairly well. I'm gonna put Dalton Varsho in the good category. I think he has a slight argument maybe to get on the All-Star team if he puts up some good weeks here going into it. This is a solid player, a really nice young guy that the Arizona Diamondbacks have. Elias Diaz, below average. I thought he improved a little bit because last year I think he did improve on his defensive numbers, but he went right back to stinking, and he's not hitting at all. He might be one of the worst catchers in Major League Baseball right now, and if it wasn't for the Rockies, he probably doesn't play as much, but Brian Serven, like, you might as well play that guy. With Gary Sanchez, I'm gonna put Gary Sanchez in the good category. I know I've always made fun of him, and I still will, even though he's not on the Yankees anymore. I don't think defensively he's a very good catcher. He has improved though. There has been an improvement this year, and apparently pitchers really like throwing to him in Minnesota, which is nice. We know that he can hit. We've seen him get hot. We've seen him be cold. He's all over the place, but I really do think at the absolute worst, Gary Sanchez is probably in like that top 15-ish range of catchers in Major League Baseball, which will put him in the good for me. I don't really know what happened to Jacob Stallings. He was kind of okay before. He was a good catcher behind the plate, and he could swing it okay. In Miami, I know it's where hitters go to die. He can't hit for anything, and his catching has deteriorated. And for those reasons, we got to put him in below average. He's just been really, really bad this year. Not what the Marlins wanted at all. Joey Bart, as much as I like Joey Bart, below average. He got sent down because of how much he's struggling. He has looked horrendous, and I'm shocked because he's someone that I thought was going to be at least league average, and he just hasn't even been close. He's looked overmatched, overpowered, not good. Jonah Heim is super interesting because he's really, really good at what he does, which is framing, he's elite, and crushing left-handed pitching. He's really, really good at that, but he can't hit righties. And for that, I think I have to put him in the good category. Like, I think there's probably some people who are gonna be like, he's an all-star caliber player. And I think there's an argument just because catching's so weak, but the fact that there is like this hole right now in his game being against right-handed pitching, and I know you can't be perfect, but he is being used basically in a platoon situation. I like Jonah Heim. I was wrong about this guy. I had him as one of the worst catchers in baseball. Jonah Heim is good. Jorge Alfaro is one of the more interesting players at the catcher position. He's kind of like JT Realmuto-ish in that he's a freak athlete, not as good defensively, not as good at the plate. This year he's hitting a little bit better in San Diego, but I still want to see a little bit more, so I'm going to put him in average, where maybe in the past he was below average. Oh, Jose Trevino, you know he's going in the elite category. No, honestly, I think he probably... Really, I think realistically, he probably is an average catcher, but the way he's playing right now, I'll give him props. Him and Heim were the former platoon, and they're both playing really well in platoon situations again this year, so I'll put Trevino in good, or Trevino. It's technically Jose Trevino. My bad to the Trevino family. He's having a really good year. He's playing well in the Bronx. He's a good framer. I'll put him in good. Now, I know JT Realmuto kind of relatively stinks this year, but he's just simply too good to not at least be in the all-star category. He probably isn't elite anymore. Going into his 31, 32-year-old season next year, like man, he still is so good and catching so weak. I think I'm going to leave him an all-star right now. We'll see how the list looks at the end. This is so tough. He should be elite. He should be elite. He should be elite. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think that the Realmuto that we've seen this year thus far is indicative of the kind of player he will be at the end of the season. It's just tough when you see a guy who clearly has taken a step back. We'll talk about another guy like that coming up soon because, woof, Yasmani Grandal. I like Keibert Ruiz a lot. Maybe I'm ignoring the numbers here. He's about a league average hitter right now. Defensively, he could improve, but I don't know. Just watching Keibert Ruiz on TV in the game, I feel like he's better than his numbers show, and for a guy who's like kind of a rookie still, I think he's having a really good solid year, so I'm going to put him in the good category as well. I do think he is going to be a very solid catcher for the foreseeable future. Yeah, Martin Maldonado, I think it's over. I think he's officially probably done as being an everyday catcher or even a primary. I don't even know if he's going to play much longer after this year. He just looks really old. He's not hitting, and he's not playing good defense, so he's got no value right now. I'm really unsure what to do with Max Stassi. And I'm starting to realize that I think there's just a big group right now where it's like elite and all-star are the same. There's the good, and then there's everybody else. Because I think Max Stassi is probably good. I don't know if he's an all-star, like he's hitting like one, but defensively, he's fine. He's weird. He's weird. Like you 100% could put him in the all-star category. I think. Will he be an all-star? I don't know. I think I'm gonna make some changes to this by the time the video ends, just because I'm really having a hard time figuring out who's gonna go in the all-star tier, and there definitely is a tier between maybe. Stassi's good, though. Stassi's a good catcher. I was wrong about him in the past. Oh, Zunino, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? He was so cool last year. He was so cool the last few years because he was raking, but he is not playing well at all this year. I'll put him average. He's just, I don't think he's as bad as he is, but probably was never going to put up another year like we saw last year. He's so interesting. He strikes out a lot, hits bombs, and when he hits the ball, he hits it so friggin' hard. Omar Narvaez, honestly, I think he'll probably be the first guy that goes my all-star tier. I think he is just on that borderline of being like in that top tier of catching, and honestly, based on how little catchers there are, he actually might be. I know he's a bit of a platoon guy. I know he definitely has some injury issues, but I do like him. I think he is one of the better catchers in baseball. He's improved his defense massively since going to Milwaukee, which is also a huge part of his game because offensively, he was always one of the better ones, and defensively now improving. I think that puts him right underneath the elite tier because he's not elite by any means. I don't think he's really even close. Roberto Perez, below average. I've been saying it from when he had that big year in 2019 with the juice baseball. I was like, this guy's just not that good. I know defensively, that's his calling card, but at the plate, he's a backup, maybe even a AAA player hitting wise, and his defense hasn't been as good. So yeah, below average. I also know he's hurt. Ryan Jeffers, average. I think he's a backup catcher. He plays good defense, doesn't really hit much. That's Ryan Jeffers for you. So Salvi's weird because Salvi should not be catching anymore. He should not be. His numbers when he plays DH versus when he's catching are drastic. He has like a 900 OPS when he's DHing and a 500 when he's catching. He also can't frame anymore. He's not particularly good behind the plate. I love Salvador Perez. He was one of my favorite catchers, and I do think if the offensive numbers stick like we saw last year, he's in the elite category simply because of the offensive value. But it's weird now because his offense is best when he's not catching. So what do you do with a guy like Salvador Perez? I probably just put him in good. He's not average. I think he's better than average. It's just he's not all-star because when he does hit well, it's when he's not catching. So what do you do with this guy? Because you can't just look at his numbers and say, oh, that's what he does as a catcher, because it's not true. We got to get Sean Murphy out of Oakland. I'll put him in the good category. He's good defensively. I think he's a much better hitter. Just got to get him out of there. He's got no protection. He's got nobody around him. Get him in a solid lineup where he doesn't have to carry an offense, and I think he'll be much better, which then, does that make him good? Again, it's in terms of catchers, it's tough. But Sean Murphy, please, get him out of Oakland so he can actually shine. Love me some Tomas Nido. That being said, he's below average. He's a backup catcher. He's a backup catcher who plays really solid defense, but at the plate, I do like that he's walking a little bit more. I do like that when he's a 9-hitter, he's not being selfish. He's going up there. He's not getting cheated. But, I mean, I can't say I feel great with Tomas Nido being the catcher every single day when there are other guys that are better that are available around the league. Travis d'Arnaud, honestly, truly, could be the definition of the most average catcher in baseball. The dude is an average hitter right now. He's average behind the plate. Like, he's 50th percentile framing, 100 OPS plus. He has like a 0.4, 0.5 WAR. Like, I don't think he's bad. I just think he's average. I think he's right around that same group as everyone. d'Arnaud is also like 33 now. So yeah, the same Travis d'Arnaud from a few years ago, and even in the playoffs, is not the same guy we see today. Yeah, Tucker Barnhart's better than average at framing, but boy, can he not hit. Not very good. He fell off massive. And going from Cincinnati to Detroit is honestly like jail. That's like hell. How do you do that to somebody? That's not right. Tyler Stevenson, this dude can hit. This dude can hit, and I'm so upset that he got hurt because he was one of the bright spots on the Cincinnati Reds roster. Really, really, really good hitter. Defensively, it's not the best, but hey, when you hit like that, no one really cares. So yeah, I'm going to put him in the all-star category just because swinging the bat, he is among one of the best in baseball right now at the catcher position. Will Smith, probably the best catcher in baseball, elite, defensively, he's fine. He's fine. But at the plate, that's really where he makes the difference. The dude doesn't chase. He hits the ball hard. He puts it in play solid. Like, he's just an all-around really solid player and probably maybe the best catcher in baseball. Top 2, top 3 right now, I think. Because I think right now the conversation is like Will Smith, Alejandro Kirk, and Wilson Contreras. Wilson Contreras has been phenomenal this year. At the plate, the dude is absolutely mashing. Like, this is the best catcher, I think, in baseball on paper right now. Got a 914 OPS, 10 homers. He's got like a 2.5 WAR. He's playing out of his mind in a contract season. Get that bread, Wilson. I'm all for it. Maybe trade him to the Mets. We could use a catcher. I don't really care about his defense. I don't care if it's not the greatest. I truly don't care. Neither should you, because when you get this offensive production out of a catcher, it is immensely valuable. Imagine putting Wilson Contreras into a lineup like the Yankees, like the Mets, like the Padres. Oh, the Astros? Ooh, I think the Astros are going to get Wilson Contreras. Keep an eye out for that. That's a fun trade. That should happen. Wilson Contreras is disgusting. He's elite. I don't care about his defense. The plate, he's disgusting. It doesn't matter. His defense isn't that bad where you say, oh, the elite offense is irrelevant. Yachty's still sick at framing, but he cannot hit. It's his last season. He's below average. I mean, it's just simply not that good of a catcher anymore. There's a reason Andrew Kisner's playing a little bit more. Obviously, platoon, Yachty's like 100 years old. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's an all-time great. He's just not good anymore. So if you do think that, take a look in the mirror, look at yourself and say, I'm someone who thinks Yadier Molina at 39 years old with one of the worst chase rates in baseball, who doesn't walk, who doesn't hit the ball hard, is still good. You're just crazy. You're nuts. I don't know what to do with this last guy. I have no clue what to do with Yasmani Grandal. He's 33 years old. There's a chance Yasmani Grandal just stinks the rest of the time. Like, he's old. He's played a lot. There's a chance that Yasmani Grandal doesn't have it anymore. And the numbers don't look great. Yeah, he's still framing okay, and yeah, he doesn't chase. He still has a sick eye. But the exit velos are down. He's not hitting the ball hard. He doesn't really have great expected numbers either, and it doesn't help that he's not a particularly strong athlete. He's confusing because he's hitting 175 with a 500 OPS, and 300 points of that is going to be the on-base percentage. But if he's not hitting for any power, which he's not, he's got 2 home runs, I don't know what to do with Yasmani Grandal. If you're talking to me right now, he is, honestly, statistically, one of the worst catchers in baseball right now. The dude has made a negative impact on his team. But if you were talking about Yasmani Grandal, as recently as last year, he was the best catcher in baseball. So what do you do with Yasmani Grandal? I guess I'll put him in good? I don't know. I don't know. There's a world where he just turns it around all of a sudden and goes back to being good, but he's dug himself such a big hole. I don't know what he would have to do in order to get back to being an all-star or even elite caliber. He looks like he's just possibly done, and I don't know what to do with that. So this is my catcher tier list. I would say don't look at where they're ordered in terms of their own rank. Like Wilson Contreras, I don't think is the #1 catcher. He just happens to be the first face on here. And I don't think Yadier Molina is the worst catcher in baseball. He just happens to be the last one. But the rankings, the tiers that they are in, that's kind of where I believe where they go. I'd love to know what you guys think about it down in the comment section below. Let me know where you agree or disagree with me. Drop a like on the video if you do enjoy it, as well as subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the content coming at you. Follow me on all my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links in the description, as well as make sure you check out SeatGeek. Thanks to them for sponsoring the video. That's where I'll wrap up today's video, guys. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.